Hey guys, welcome to my first video. Thank you so much for clicking and hearing me out today. But okay, that scared me. Before I get started, I'm going to be doing a paint with me type of video where I'm going to be talking about all my tips and tricks on how to find inspiration after losing it and regaining a love for painting again. So grab whatever supplies of art that you want to make during this time, or if you just want to sit and hear me talk through some points, that's okay too. Okay, so lately I feel like I have been in a slump for the past 2 years where I haven't been able to make any grand pieces of art solely and purposely for myself, and I felt like all the media that I had to make for classes and portfolios started to become more like tasks than true indulgence, and I felt like I genuinely had lost that childlike desire to create art with that constant lapse of inspiration. And with that yearning I still put away all my supplies and my sketchbook, which collected dust for probably about 2 years. And even though my sketchbook was covered in dust at this point, in the back of my mind, I was still thinking about how much I yearned to be fascinated with making art again. I honestly yearned to be fascinated with making art like when I first started out. I felt like when I was younger, I used to go through sketchbooks every 2 weeks, and as I got older, it sort of was hard to find time and balance to do those things. So with so many responsibilities, to the influx of social media and our obsessions with our phones, to personal issues that I was dealing with, loving art unconditionally was starting to become a part of my past. And it's crazy to say that because I literally go to a design school in New York City, but sometimes it really turns into that. But recently, as summer started to approach and the semester started ending, I found myself having less responsibilities, and I deleted most of my social medias for the most part. I kind of still posted on there just a little bit, and overcame a lot of my own personal issues, and I had time to really sit there with all of my ideas and past desires. I finally had time to make something for me. And I still didn't do that until a month in, but we're not going to talk about that. So I'm going to be talking about 3 tips on how to find inspiration after losing it, like how I did. Okay, tip number 1. Find people who are creative and push you, and even if you can't, be that for yourself. See, for me, being in design school, I have met so many different creative forces, and they have all their own inspiration and their own relationship with genuinely just getting in the zone and being creative. Some people hate the process, but they love the outcome. Some people love the process and think there is no outcome. Regardless, when you're in a space like that, you meet so many people who will tell you a million different ways on how to find inspiration. And for me, that really helped me formulate a path that I wanted to take. If you can't find people that are like that, and maybe you live in a small town or surrounded by people who just don't really care about these things, you might have to go out of your way to sort of research the greats, you know what I mean, the greats. And depending on what art you're interested in, researching people like Picasso or Basquiat or Andy Warhol or Frida Kahlo, whoever you like, sometimes looking at their work just isn't enough, and sometimes you kind of have to hear what they have to say, and sometimes through that they can influence your creative path going on. I'm telling you, being surrounded by certain people like that is really transformative. But anyway, I'll get into tip number 2. Finding inspiration is literally a facade. It's not even a tip, but finding inspiration is a facade, and you have to just get in the mode regardless. You have to just get in the mode. And I found some quotes that I think would sort of help what I'm trying to explain, so I'll just say those really quickly. So Andy Warhol, he said, quote unquote, "An artist is somebody who produces things that people don't need to have. Don't think about making art, just get it done. Let everyone decide whether it's good or bad or worthy. whether they love it or they hate it. While they're still deciding, make more art. Picasso. If you don't know Picasso, then you need to know this man. But anyway, he says, inspiration exists, but it has to find you already working. I'm always doing what I cannot do in order that I may learn how to do it. To draw, you must close your eyes and sing. Now, these two artists are basically saying that to sit there and to wait for inspiration, like this imaginary sort of calling, is literally a waste of time. And sometimes you have to force yourself to just get something on the paper. And sometimes just doing that can literally transition itself into something that you never thought you could ever make. And it's hard to explain, but sometimes more ideas can flow when you have this force of getting work done or just starting it in general. And for me, that genuinely helped me learn to love that sort of rigid process. And for me, the outcome was always, always, always transformative. Now, these tips are tips on how to love art again. And I kind of have a feeling that if you sort of clicked on this video, you kind of already do love it because you're trying to sort of rebuild your skill again. So these two tips are just kind of playful tips that I just wanted to throw in there. So tip number 1, what you can create can live for such a long time, and you should cherish that. I feel like I'm throwing quotes out there, but I feel like they're so relevant to what I've sort of been trying to say. And here's a quote by Frida Kahlo, and it says, I don't know if my paintings are surreal or not, but I do know that they represent the frankest expression of myself. Painting has made my life full. Painting has replaced everything. I don't think that there's anything better than working. She says, I paint flowers so they will not die. The memory and the outcome of painting is just so life-changing. When you finish any body of work, that is proof that you're getting better at your skill. So be proud of yourself for even trying to become skillful and learn to have fun with it, because painting and making art and being creative should be fun at the end of the day. To finish off this video, I have one more quote, and it's very, very short. It's by Andy Warhol, and he says, the idea is to not live forever, but it is to create something that will. Learning to find inspiration and learning to love painting all over again will always be a long life process, and that there's no linear way to achieve these two things. So, the tips that I kind of threw out today are things that I've learned that have slightly helped me get on the path of having a better relationship with creativity. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this speed paint. I know that there's probably a minute or two left, and I had a lot of fun picking out watercolor for the first time in months. And if you guys picked it up with me, I hope that you guys had fun too. Thank you guys, and have a great day. Bye.